Okay, so we'll start off this haul with another new micro drone here from iFlight RC. I don't think this is the one that's in the picture here. I remember it being like a stretch dex frame. Let's see what we got here. This is the Strider X2 Stretch X Micro, and looks like it's already fully built. Pretty big size here, actually. Looks like these come with the 2.4 inch props here. It looks like these are the Racer Star, I guess the blown up versions of the GemFan 2035s, but 2.4 inches. And it looks like the motors that are on here are pretty big. Yeah, they're 1106 6000 kV. They're iPower branded. I think I did a review on an iPower branded 1104 7500 kV motor a while back, so this is the bigger brother of that one. And pretty thick frame here, we'll measure that in a second. No micro swift or micro arrow in this one. It looks like it's got the old style, I guess you can call it, all-in-one camera here. I don't know which brand this is. Yeah, I think this is the one that I reviewed a while back, the Turbo Wing. It's a pretty good camera. It's not bad for the micro all-in-ones, but pretty sure that this will probably fit a micro swift in here. Although this is these side plates are a little loose. I don't think this is actually being held in by the side plates. I think these side plates are actually for the micro swift that didn't come with, but maybe I'll do a mod later after I do the review. And we got here 4-in-1 ESC and looks like an F3 flight controller. It might be an F4. I can't really see it from this angle, so I better consult the documentation here. So yeah, it's a 25 milliwatt 40 channel video transmitter. The frame is 122 millimeters for the motor, but that doesn't seem right. This looks a lot bigger. And we got a fly tower 10 amp 4-in-1 ESC. But I believe the fly tower, it should be a 12 amp. If it's if that's the same one that comes on the KLEX90. I'll have to look into that. And let's see what else here. Yeah, 2.4 inch props. That's what I thought was on there. It's an F3 flight controller. So it doesn't come with a receiver, but it looks like it supports these receivers, and there's a little connector here for one. Probably able to do a direct solder anyway. So I'm taking a closer look at this stack here, and it's definitely not the one that's in the KLEX90. So the documentation is probably right. It's a 10 amp 4-in-1 ESC and an omnibus F3 flight controller. And I'm going to measure the frame. Yeah, and actually the documentation is correct. It's about 122 millimeters motor to motor, so it just looks a lot bigger. It's probably because of the prop guards that are on there. So it's a 75 side to side, and it's about 95 front to back. And I just want to measure this arm here. It's about 3 millimeters thickness. Anyway, so you get more prop guards in the box plus extra screws. Probably those are for when you want to take the prop guards off, because they look pretty thick, so you're going to need different size screws. Otherwise, probably going to mess up the motors. So there's some spare screws here and additional spare screws. Maybe these are the ones, the shorter ones you need. And you get some spare Velcro for that's on the underneath. I'm not really sure if I'll be using this or not. And then you get a battery strap. And this is just the documentation on the camera. Okay, so I got a frame here from iFlight RC, and this is the H5 220mm freestyle frame for 5-inch props. So it looks like this frame comes with some, I guess these are like skirts for the side to protect the electronics on the inside. Looks like it's a kind of a low profile. And you get some aluminum standoffs here, interesting looking. And it's a top plate, and this is a dead cat style frame, and that top mounted battery here. So I'll have a review video on this in a separate video later, but just a quick look at what it looks like here. Okay, I got another frame from iFlight. This is the Transframe X5 220mm. This is I think this is more of a racing style frame. This is kind of packaged like the smaller frame that I reviewed a while back, the I think it was the BBB 128mm frame. Kind of nice. The carbon's all kind of you know, in this, like these slots here that are cutouts or whatever in the foam, which is pretty nice. But we'll take this out. Yeah, this carbon feels super nice. All the edges are beveled, and everything is nice and clean. So yeah, they've done the post cutting work to make this a nice piece of carbon. You can see that the screws on the bottom here are countersunk, so we're gonna have a flat bottom for the battery. I think all of the pieces are going to be in like layers here, so take a look at that. So there's the top parts here. I'll just put a picture up on the screen and you guys can see what the frame looks like. Obviously I'm not going to build it here in this video, but just give you a quick look, and I'll have a video on this pretty soon. Okay, so I got a pretty big box here, so I put it on the floor. Got a monster truck. This is the ZD Racing Thunder ZMT-10 from ZD Hobby, and it's got the pistol grip control. It's ready to run, so it comes with a battery and charger. It's 4-wheel drive. Okay, here's the pistol grip control, and you got a bunch of trim adjusters on the side here. This feels pretty nice in the hand. I think the range is 100 meters is what they are advertising. Looks like we're going to have to put a whole bunch of AA batteries in the bottom. And they're including the IMAX B3 charger. Charges 2 and 3S batteries. I think the battery here is a 2S LiPo. And this is the instruction manual. Quick look at the truck itself. You got the polycarbonate top. Pretty nice tires. Yeah. Feels solid all around. I believe this thing goes 40 kilometers per hour. And it's pretty solid suspension. Yeah, pop the top off here, and looks like we have a large, like a hard case battery there. Take that look at that in a second. Brushless motor on this one. I think it's 3500 kV, and we have a pretty big ESC. I think it's waterproof. It's got a heatsink and a fan. And you got a very large servo there. I believe it does 9 kilograms of torque. Dean's connector on the battery. And there's the battery. It's in a hard case, 2400 milliamp hour 2S 25C LiPo. And these battery leads here, they actually come out on these little bullet connectors. The balance, one of the balance leads is out here, so you have to pop this off to get the battery out. So that's a quick look at this, and I'll have a review on this coming up pretty soon. Okay, got another FPV camera here from Runcam, and this is actually the new Split version 2, and they've made a few improvements to this, especially the adding the wider voltage range is now 5 to 17 volts. And I believe that they're including the newer lens with this as standard instead of as an add-on. So also they have a new Wi-Fi module as well. It's got a like a USB type connector instead of pins, which is going to be, I think, going to be better. And here's just a quick look at it. Obviously you can see it's got the newer lens on here, the RC25G. I think it looks otherwise the same. And then I believe that they've changed the connectors here from the JST connector here to solder pads for the video in and out, and also for the power. You can see the wider voltage range, 5 to 17 volts. And I believe they also fixed that reverse current problem where if you plugged in the USB port along with the battery voltage, something would get fried. I never did that, so I never had that problem, but I've heard that that's fixed now. And you don't need to mod with the diode to fix that problem. And I think they've got an improved SD card mounting system here somewhere, wherever the SD card slot happens to be. Yeah, I think they've gone to the regular just push-in slot here with a little spring mechanism instead of that sort of cell phone style locking mechanism they had before. There's pros and cons to this one. Obviously, in a crash, the little spring could make the card pop out and you could lose it. So you might have to figure out a way to secure that. But you can see here, there's the connection for the Wi-Fi board, and then there's your micro USB port. Anyway, just a quick look at this, and I'll have a full review on this coming up pretty soon. Okay, so this is another new MicGrow flight controller, 20x20, the Omnibus F4 Nano. It looks like these flight controllers are continuing to evolve. So here's a quick look at it. You got an F4 chip obviously on this side. You got USB port, number of pinouts here. Some of them are labeled, some of them are not. Looks like you got a micro connector here. Looks like that goes to your 4-in-1 ESC. Got a bunch of PWM signals there. You got an OSD chip on this side. Pretty big voltage regulator. Looks like a chip there for black box data. I think that might be a barometer, perhaps. I'm not sure. Yeah, this is a voltage regulator, and that's another voltage regulator. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have a review on this. Check this out in a little more details. Looks like this has got more stuff than I expected, or more stuff than I thought would be on here. But yeah, any questions? Let me know down below, and I'll try and answer that later on. So I picked up these 16x16 flight controllers. They're called the teenycube F3 flight controller. I don't think these have an OSD on them. Okay, so you get some nylon standoff screws, nuts. Here's a look at the board. And obviously not a lot of you guys are probably using the 16x16 form factor, but I think these all this has a built-in PDB perhaps, and looks like you can solder on your signal and your power and ground to your ESCs here directly. Super tiny. There's no silk screening on here. Obviously you're going to need to add your own receiver there. There's no OSD, but it does have a USB port. But the reason I'm showing you this is I bought 3 of these. They're on some kind of flash sale or something. I got 3 of them for $12.97. Yeah, so it's a F3 2 to 4S with a 5-volt BEC. It's a 15x15, sorry. The Eachine teenycube. So I guess they're dumping these. Yeah, I used a coupon code and got them for 13 bucks for 3 of them. So every once in a while you'll get a lot of these kind of parts that go on like sale. And I'll pick up a few of these just, you know, for basically like leftover builds or things where I might need a flight controller. Obviously you can get kind of creative with mounting these. There's adapters and stuff you can print out, like 3D print actually. So I like picking up like, you know, F3 flight controllers really dirt cheap for like 4 or 5 bucks, and so should definitely keep an eye out on Banggood. And also I tweet these on Twitter whenever these deals come out, so if you follow me on Twitter you'll know about them as soon as I know about them. I usually, when I buy something like this on sale, I tweet it out so that other people will know. So follow me on Twitter if you want to keep up with the sales. Okay, we got another drone here from Gearbest. It's the Freebie Dark Max, and we got the, looks like we got the Fly Sky bind and fly version. The rate at which these drones are coming out is just unreal. So it looks like here we got some gem van props. These are the 5152, and they're clear. And they got a set of black ones. I think these are going to draw more amps, but we'll see. I'll probably try them out at the beginning. Here we got a bag of prop nuts, Velcro straps. You got a Allen. We got a wrench there. Circular. Oh, sorry. There's a linear whip antenna there on an SMA connector. And you got, looks like a receiver connector there. And yeah, here it is. It's all pre-built. It's really nice looking. And you got some beveled carbon here, kind of like on the Holybro Copus. So it is a unibody frame. So if you break an arm, you're gonna have to replace the entire bottom plate. No weird cutouts here on the motor mounts, but possibly a weak point here. It's probably 4mm carbon. See how flexible this is. And it's fairly stiff, it's not bending. And I'm trying to flex it. So we got some DYS motors here. I've never seen these before. SR 2205 2550 kV Racer Edition. These must be new. It They look pretty nice. I like the black color. It doesn't have a hollow shaft though. Just a standard shaft. They feel pretty smooth, so bearings are nice. Let's see, we got a C-clip underneath here, not a screw, and the whole bottom section here is nice and flat. You're gonna have to put your battery strap through here. Not a lot of room there between the bottom plate and the ESCs. It'll be challenging to get your battery in there, and they have the motor wires running to the bottom as well. You can see here they've added some nice braiding, but it would have been nice if they would have put some heat shrink here, because eventually this will fray and then you'll get a big mess. And same over here. So eventually at some point these will start fraying and you'll have to take that off. But you could probably desolder and put heat shrink on if you really want to. It's a lot of work though. A nice long XD60 connector, good length of wire. You can wrap it around here, get into your battery. LED in the back. You got a little pigtail here for your, looks like it's an RP SMA connector here. It's a little pin in the center. And here's your FlySky receiver. It looks like they're they're using a micro receiver here. Yeah, it's definitely a micro receiver. I think it's the RX2A Pro. So it's not a good spot for the receiver. I think for that little antenna there, I might have to move it somewhere else, or perhaps use a different receiver. Yeah, probably should have asked them to send me the FreeSky version, because I think that comes with an XM Plus receiver. That's a much better receiver than this one. But you know, I could fly this with my Turnigy Evolution. But I think I'm gonna have to put this somewhere else out here. Yeah, so this antenna placement is not good. It's just gonna get blocked by all this carbon. Nice looking side plate design. We got this nice mount here for your GoPro. Pretty aggressive angle. Looks like about 40 degrees, I suspect. So you're gonna get some aggressive camera angle on your FPV camera as well. Don't know what kind of camera that is. Yeah, I'm looking at the back here, and you probably can't see there's an OSD joystick on the camera. I think this is the same camera that came on the Furby X215, the one with the aluminum side plates. I think they're using the same camera. They probably got the same supplier. That was a good camera, good color reproduction. You can check out that video if you want to see the FPV video. I think that's an okay camera. And then I don't know what kind of... I'm not sure what kind of flight controller this is. It's a flight controller and a video transmitter combo. You got your band channel power buttons here on the side, and then you can see the heat shield there for the video transmitter, and then on this side you got your USB port and your F4 chips. It's some sort of an F4 flight controller. So you just the two stacks there, one for flight controller and your video, and probably has an OSD, I imagine, that goes to your pigtail for your antenna, which is just that whip antenna, and then you got your 4-in AC. I believe it's a 30 amp 4-in AC. So pretty nice looking product. I'll have a review on this coming out pretty soon.